Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas Blair.
I'm Mark Halash.
And this is the ACE Q&A for August 2018, where we take the questions from the ACE Development Q&A forum and answer the questions for you.
Wall battlement question. First off, great job on the battlement upgrades. I pondered making a post a while back about wall height and held off, and it looks like you guys had it covered all along. They look great. This should be a pretty easy question. Do any of these battlement upgrades come in any of the Kickstarter packages? If so, which ones?
So, I went and talked to Brandon about it, who just did all of the data work for the Mega Deeds, and he set all of the Kickstarter packages to the max rank. So, if you're one of those few who backed us early on, you get max rank on your walls. Pretty awesome.
Excellent.
Excellent. Next question. Next question. Why do skinnable creatures drop coins?
Well,
what do you think, Mark?
In this case, it's a case of fun trumping realism, right? Because, I mean, basically, that doesn't necessarily mean that we won't be dropping sellable things in the future, but for right now, it's a matter of expedience, right? This basically that gets us there, right? That gets us there faster, rather than having to make you guys wait for the entire infrastructure to support. Hey, you know, because you got to drop something, and then hey, we got to have something for those drops to be used for, and then basically, then somebody needs to put those drops up on a vendor, and then blah blah blah, and that's a lot of infrastructure to support that.
So basically, right now, we're just trying to get the game loop firing.
We're getting the game loop firing, and we're saying, hey, here's the gold coins that you will eventually have to maybe work a little harder to get, but for right now, that gets us to where we need to be, which is giving you guys the gold coins you need to make the purchases you
Yes. Yeah. Okay, next question. Volume of Matt's resource boxes and past videos. In one of the Fly on the Wall videos, there was talk of the ability to refine down the resources found in chests to be leveraged as crafting materials. Is this still on the roadmap? Yes, at some point, we definitely want to make it so that you can break those bigger things down into whatever quality we decide it should be in mass. Basically, a good way to get in mass amounts of resources that also has a PvP component to it. Okay, that was an easy one.
So, next question. Problems with the armor system. There's been some talk recently about currently the fact that all armor mitigations are on the chest. And so the trend right now apparently is wearing plate on your chest and then wearing off-pieces leather to get the damage bonuses.
Right.
And so how do we feel about that, Blair?
Well, there's also a bug that's kind of making everyone able to do that, which is the equipping of the disciplines that allow you to equip plate and then unequipping them, so basically everybody can equip plate for no cost. In the future, we're going to make it such that if you do that, it's going to disable the things that are in those slots so that you're not going to get any benefit. So that will stop some of this behavior. So there is kind of a bug acting against this, as well as the fact that maybe the bonuses just aren't in the right places yet. I mean, we've tried a couple times to get penalties on armor at one point, and everybody hated that. So we've kind of shifted more towards bonuses, but then we end up in this other corner. So basically, we're still kind of sussing our way through what the ideal solution is here, such that you don't always want to go plate and then leather. But we do want you to be able to mix and match, because that was kind of one of the tenets of this system, was that you could min-max some of it, right? It's just ideally everybody didn't come up with the same solution, because otherwise everybody wears it the same thing. So anyways, we're going to be looking at that as things start to get ironed out and we start to balance stuff on a bigger picture scale. Okay, so why did you guys put white quality intermediate armor and weapons on vendors?
Right. So that basically, again, is an attempt to help bootstrap the economy so that basically you can just get in and start testing the stuff we want you to test right away, right? It's basically to speed things along, right? I mean, clearly we want everybody in white quality as fast as possible. The really good stuff is still going to be the advanced stuff, but this should at least enable you to exchange some of that gold that you got early on for boars if you have no interest in crafting. And while we don't have player-run vendors in the campaign worlds yet, this is a good solution for now to kind of, again, we're trying to get the game working here, is the bigger theme, and we don't really want to wait until every last system is done to try and prove some of our ideas out. So keep that game loop firing, basically.
Yep, there you go. Experimentation pips and caps and class rings. If experimentation pips no longer appear on rings, is 20 pips still the cap? where do we find these 20 pips? Are we going to see an increase in other areas that they were granted? So 20 was an early testing number that we used, and now we're starting to add these other things. Like there's crafting stations that grant you a pip if you stand near it out in the keep. So it encourages people to go out and take those keeps such that they get better crafting results. In fact, those stations also give you a cap increase to the max amount of pips that you can have, which is pretty cool. So we're going to start seeing a lot of other game systems look at crafting, because prior to this, none of them have really. I mean, it was on armor, equipment only, basically. So you're going to start seeing things like there's potions now that give you an increase to the cap. You're going to start seeing a lot of that stuff. And 20 was just the number we picked in testing because that sounded good. It may end up being 22 or 25 or 18 or 15. We're still sussing out where that should be. So again, as we start to move forward and we start to apply more balance to the game rather than just testing numbers, you're going to start feeling a lot of those things. And don't be too upset on numbers that you've been used to for the last 2 years, because here comes the game. Yeah. Here's some ideas for 5.8 crafting. Players aren't rewarded enough for using higher quality materials. There's a too high level variance due to RNG. The 50% risk and 50% bonus issues. So yeah, a lot of this is going to get updated. I don't know if it's going to land in 5.8, which is the experimentation screen. You will be able to actually select the risk that you want, and that will add difficulty to the recipe, but it will make each pip worth more. It won't be based on some magic number that you have to hit. There's basically just going to be a button that says, no additional risk, or are you insane? And at that point, you can basically select the level of risk that you're comfortable with.
And be more transparent about what is a risk and what is what you're going to get out of it.
I mean, right now it's very obfuscated. It's not even kind of obfuscated. It's very obfuscated. So we're going to try and clear that up. As for the RNG, there's even an option that we're adding in there for lowest rerolls, that you can do the 2 lowest stat rerolls, or you can do a total item reroll, but those do have costs associated with them, and it is pretty expensive to do those. But we are clearly working on it, and we kind of know the warts on the existing system. We just crafting needed its 1.5 pass, which harvesting already got, and combat has had multiple passes on. We basically did the crafting and then moved back onto other things. So now we're going to make a second pass back, and that's either going to happen as little pieces in 5.8, or hopefully in 5.9 you'll start to see some more crafting stuff. Next question. Any possibility of having some exploration type activities or skills connected to rune gate travel? Something like mysterious rune gates that require a node or disc to use, or only work at night, or require sacrifice to activate, or even hippos to build up.
All these things sound cool.
All those things sound really cool, and I think we can do all of those based on the tech that we have right now. We can clearly make hippos build a rune gate. We have tags that turn things on and off at night, season. I mean, one of the early ideas for the multi-world campaign that we still want to do is when winter comes or fall comes, there's actually islands, the zones, that don't unlock until those seasons. Yeah. Right? So adding these other level content switches, that's great, and that's stuff that we'll start as we play and iterate through. We'll be like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if basically it's the Mario sewer level?
Sure,
right?
Yeah, go down to the...
Right, you go to the special rune gate, and only you can see it, because whatever that... Yeah, great ideas. All right, thanks everybody for coming out for the August 2018 Q&A. I'd like to thank our new Russian publishing partner, Innova, for providing me and several others with cloaks and Crowfall medallions. And we will see you next month.
See you next time.